Hey guys, Bitcoin ETFs will be accepted within the next 2 days. Meanwhile, BTC is breaking through the 47,000 level, reaching its highest price in the last year and a half. But what will happen next? Some people think that the price will skyrocket to 70,000, and others believe that we will see a new bottom. We are being manipulated quite actively, so let's find out the truth now. We are now on the verge of something huge. The market is expecting Bitcoin ETFs to be launched almost every day, and all the while we are being manipulated, deceived, and misled to make money off of us, the ordinary investors. The market is overheating at an incredible rate. For some, this tweet is just a meme, but it's not really funny. There is a Japanese saying, when people who have nothing to do with crypto start asking you about BTC, you should be careful with the market. And it's hard for me to argue with that, because as I said, we are all small cogs in a huge mechanism of global financial fraud. Just look at how popular Google searches for ETFs and Bitcoin have become. The media is hyping this as much as they can. So what's going on with Bitcoin ETFs right now? Let's take a look at the latest news. Cathie Wood recently gave an interview to CNN.
Do you believe your application will be approved? And why do you think so? And what kind of negotiations have been in with the SEC about this? Give us a sense of where we are.
Sure. Well, we do think the probability is very high that that Bitcoin ETFs will be approved this week. And the reason, as we've been saying, is, the SEC actually, after, denying a number of times, started asking questions, very good questions, very detailed questions, very technical questions.
And it's very interesting. Do you remember Cathie being this happy before? But let's move on and see what's going on with the filings that are out there right now. The SEC is rushing to respond to the latest Bitcoin ETF filings. With a Wednesday deadline looming, the regulator sent out comments just hours after would-be issuers filed documents detailing their fees. It's like the SEC is in turbo mode. They've never done anything this fast before. And the SEC's website is already starting to show updates to the 19B4 filing that was submitted on January 6. And while the SEC is still working on the filings, the former chairman of the SEC gave his commentary, and meanwhile the funds are already starting their wars. I think we are going to see the same manipulation and what the big players are capable of doing to take money away from small investors. So we have to be very, very careful if we don't want to lose our money. I say this for a reason, because I am well aware that such abnormal activity can lead to huge losses on the part of newcomers. First of all, I would like to answer the question of those who are interested in what will happen if Bitcoin ETFs are not accepted. The answer is very, very simple. I think we've dealt with the most basic question, but what should we expect if the SEC does approve applications for a spot Bitcoin ETF?
Could this be a sell on the news event? What happens from here? Let's assume this is approved.
Sure. I think so many people are expecting now a sell on the news that we might not have a sell on the news because, once you hear that enough, the positioning is already taking place. So who knows? It's a very short term. All we know is with our 5-year investment time horizon, we think the flows into this new asset class, especially institutional flows, but also retail flows. Retail has led the charge, of course, that they're going to be quite substantial. And it won't take much of an allocation by institutions into Bitcoin to drive what is becoming a scarce asset much higher.
So there will be no sell on the news? Cathie doesn't think it is going to happen, but I disagree. The market is very, very much saturated with news about Bitcoin ETFs. It's like a volcano about to erupt, and I think we're likely to see a significant drop in Bitcoin right after the ETF is introduced. But this is just a guess, and we will be able to see the truth within this week. By the way, the Crypto Quant team has made a rather interesting forecast on this issue. They see 2 scenarios. Number 1, positive. If BTC rises to 48.5K, the share of 1-day to 1-week holders is likely to rise above 8%, which indicates an overheated market and reinforces a correction. 48.5K is the average unit price of 2 to 3 year holders and can be a major resistance. It is quite interesting that BTC only needs to rise 4% to reach 48,500. In my opinion, this is just a meager performance for such an overheated market. Number 2, negative. BTC has seen an average of 2 to 30% declines in the past when rallying upwards. If the price drops, 34K and 30K can be the support. The average unit price by holding period of 1 week to 3 months, 18 months to 2 years holders are at 34K, and the 3 to 12 months holders are at 30K. It's quite interesting. Let's see if the analysts of the Crypto Quant team are right. I also can't help but mention the words of Arthur Hayes, who I regularly add to my videos. He believes that in the medium term, we will see a pullback in the price of BTC. But what will be the impact on the crypto market in general? And will it change the general understanding of how conventional tools work? Remember what I said earlier about the fight for the lowest commission fees among funds? Here is what a Bloomberg analyst writes about it, and it's hard for me to disagree with him. The funds have simply set a bar above which they will almost all work equally well for ordinary investors. And here's what Nate Geraci says about it. He has a rather interesting opinion. Such commission fees can cause big problems for ordinary exchanges. And this is true because crypto exchanges have huge transaction fees for regular exchanges and transactions, so they will have to adapt to the new realities of the market. But overall, I believe that the introduction of ETFs will change the market. It will bring in a lot of new investors who don't know anything about crypto. However, the main goal of all crypto projects will not be to confuse these users, but rather to increase their recognition among newcomers. Therefore, in my opinion, we will see a significant increase in the popularity of GameFi and SocialFi narratives, as these are the easiest to understand areas of crypto. But let's move on to my more detailed BTC price prediction. I don't want to play the role of a soothsayer because the situation is as extraordinary as it gets, and we can see any development within this week. But I expect the following scenario. The SEC accepts some applications and we briefly touch the $50,000 level, after which we roll back to at least the $40,000 support level. It's likely that we'll settle into the accumulation zone between $40,000 and $45,000, and then we will see an upward movement after the Bitcoin halving, which will take place in about 100 days. But I want to remind you that at this stage, these are just my thoughts, and the market may behave completely differently. Moreover, this is the first cryptocurrency spot ETF, which will actually become an example for others. So be very careful. The market is a big scam right now. Do your own research and only invest if you are 100% sure of your actions. And that's all for today. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the growth of coins and new trends. Thanks for watching. Your Coin Post.